Man, can you tell what's going on in my life right now? No. There's a Red Wings jersey back there. I got the hat on. I got the t-shirt on. Like, wow. I wonder if he likes the Dallas Cowboys. Well, you guys, we fucking did it. What'd you do? Well, we finished well, we didn't. I have episode 6 here I wrote in the typewriter, and I finally just finished copying it onto the computer. It's got to edit it, and then when I'm done editing it, I have to fucking read it, and like film it, and I have to do the little acting parts, and after that, I have to, do that shit. So it's a little bit more work to be done still. But the cool thing is, it's on the computer, ready to go, edit it, we'll film it. And I gotta say, man, it's probably the best episode yet. I have a sensation, deep down inside, that it's just gonna get better and better and better. So, with that being said, I'm pretty fucking tired. I've been at this since this morning, and it's like a little bit after noon now. So we've gotten it down. Oh, damn. I forgot how much I hate laptop keyboards. I fucking despise them. But I don't want to work on the other office because it's a mess. At any rate, so what's been going on? Well, that's really all that's been going on besides working every day. But I did finish a couple books. I don't really remember what I said that I've done, but I read The Odyssey I told you about, and like about a week and a half ago I finished the story of Tristan and Isolde. What did he call it? Let's find out. It just says Gottfried von Strasberg, Tristan, with Tristan of Thomas filling in the blanks. I think I talked about this, but I don't really remember. But anyway, I read that, and I want to do like a little video and tell you about the whole story. You're going to get a kick out of it. Basically, how long can you listen to someone getting gaslit? That's what it's about. But I also have this. I have the Romance of Tristan by, I don't really know how to say his name, Birol. I think he's French. And it was written a little earlier. It's one of the earliest versions of Tristan. There's a lot of them out there. And it's this archetypal story that happened some long time ago, and people have been telling it from different lands, from France to Germany to England, Cornwall, Wales, and all that. And it's kind of in the sphere of Arthurian myth, as I understand it, depending on the read. When you read this one, you wouldn't think that, because Arthur's not even mentioned. But in this one, he is, so it's interesting. But anyway, not only that, but we've also been taking in a little bit of the White Goddess, learning about poetry, at least through the eyes of Robert Graves, and his understanding of it. And I think that's all I'm really reading. A little bit of Manly P. Hall, his work here on, I think it's like his magnum opus. I don't really know if that's right or not. Secret Teachings of All the Ages, esoteric kind of stuff. Everything you can think of, from Kabbalah, Tarot, Pyramids, Zodiac, Pythagorean philosophy, Masonry, Gemology, Shakespeare, Hermes, Thoth. Okay, so it's Thoth, Hermes, Trismegistus, the Kabbalah, Hermetic legend, Tree of the Sephiroth, and mystical Christianity. Everything esoteric you can think of, at least to this degree. And I've been kind of like dipping my toe in that and listening to some lectures. And, whoo-wee, man, is it nuts, right? It can seem scary if you have a smaller view of it, and you think of like esoteric stuff. You think, oh no, that's like devil stuff. And the more I get into it, the more I'm like, oh, that was just how it was made to believe. But at any rate, the biggest thing I'm learning from this, to kind of save a really long fucking story, is just how human beings will shape the lens in which they view the world and morality and their own character to suit the needs of either their culture or merely just like the group, whoever we're talking about, like, aristocracy or the priestly class or whoever it happens to be. It's just a way in which we view the world and put a sense of morality, character, and many other things that define what a person should be in said culture. And that's really all it kind of is. But the beauty of it is it can take on a life of its own, merely through our own minds, because as I'm learning simultaneously from that work and the work of my book, our minds are the doorway to another world in which we can all have a connection into. You can call it imagination, you can call it whatever the fuck you want. Consciousness is what some people call it. And it's this place in which all these things can exist and they act upon us, creating their own sense of a world. Whether they're real or not, I don't really know, but in some sense it can be real if we allow it to be. As for an example, we give ourselves rules. In a religious sense, think of the Ten Commandments and stuff. Like, those aren't real, but we create them, and it gives us some sense of reality when we put stories within it. And we have not only stories, but like seeming repercussions for failing to do such things our culture says not to do. And it's got this kind of, it's viewed through a lens of seriousness, and grave mistakes, if made, can cost you gravely beyond death. Meaning the afterlife and stuff like that. You know, punishment or atonement or whatever the religion says. And it's just helped me realize this. Now, I've been doing a lot of working on myself of late, and it's been very difficult. But in some sense, the biggest thing I came to, like the biggest realization, is like, okay, work on yourself, get better, figure out who you are, be a better person in society. The biggest thing I learned was I did not trust myself. I always second guess myself with a belief, with a feeling, with a thought. Whether it's like academic, like my system of like, well, what I think this is, all the way to just a personal opinion. And I never trusted it. I was always looking at everyone else as this authority. And as you can watch back in the video, clearly because I see everyone participating in the world, well, if you're all doing that, you kind of know things. I don't really give a fuck. I'm over here. I'm just going to listen to you and trust you because apparently you give a fuck. And because I was doing that for so long, I never really formed my own opinions on things. Well, I did, but I didn't really trust them. To me, those were like, as someone who was religious would say, an evil thought. I must banish it from my mind. Don't have a thought. Those are evil. Don't think at all. Be. And so I live my life like that. And so of late, I've been trying to grow my mind, which right now, this side of my head, which is my right side, is a little achy. I've been trying to grow my mind in establishing a healthy sense of ego, I guess we could say now. My beliefs and my understanding of things, and it's taken me down this fucking vortex of confusion for a little bit. As you watch the previous videos, you could see they kind of have a darker tone to them. I didn't feel that way, but I could see how one would think that, so that's fine. My point is, I'm learning to trust myself. I'm learning to navigate into the world of human thought, understanding opinions and beliefs and theories and conjecture, but also forming my own outside of it, you know? It's hard to do, but for the first time when I'm reading someone's shit, I have to go, well, that's his thing though. I never did that before. It was always like, well, this must be the authority in the moment, and I will believe what he says. I never did anything opposite. So it's just kind of, it's kind of tough to do. You can clearly see just about how it's been for us as these videos are going through. And it's really come to light the result of the journey by my Forgotten series. I'm just so flabbergasted by it. Like, as I just finished up copying over episode 6, I'm just like flabbergasted by it. Like what happens in it, the themes, and maybe it doesn't seem like to someone else, but to me, I'm super proud of how well my writing's getting. And as a general thing, not just necessarily the spelling and the grammar, but also like the prose and the way I lay stories out and stuff. It's getting so much better. And it's happening on the fly. I almost look back at the first few episodes of the Forgotten series and think, oh, I almost should just redo them all, because I found the tone. You know what I mean? But whatever. It's part of the process. You get to watch it grow naturally before I do the real series. And so, in some sense, that's kind of where we've been. We've been really seeking to establish ourselves and improve ourselves. I no longer want to just sit and bitch and just have opinions but do nothing about them like most people will do. And that's okay, because I do it too. I'm not trying to call anyone out, but that's all we do. We just have these little opinions and we think if I voice them, then I'm doing something about it. But in reality, you're just letting it kill you. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of fucking having opinions and not doing something. So it's been my goal to improve myself in my daily life, and starting to meditate more, starting to journal a little bit more than I do, even though technically these videos are basically it. But not only that, trusting myself as much as I can, and trying to train myself to trust as much as I don't want to. I have to. It's just like, it's all these little things, as you can clearly see, that take up a lot of what we're trying to do here. It's not really that easy. It really isn't. It can't be stated any more obvious than that. I don't really have any more to say than that. It's a tough journey that we've been going on. But it's kind of, so far, there's been some improvements, not only in my mental state, but in the way I view things. And yeah, I can't necessarily give a formula to it and say, like, well, here's what you do, and blah, blah, blah. Because we're all so vastly different. But I can say that in doing all of this, it's been definitely helped break me free from some old behaviors that I have. Let me just pause here and just take care of this window thing. That's another thing I've been trying to do better, is kind of get used to the sunlight. I'm not a huge fan of it, as you can see by my complexion. Not really a huge fan of being in the sun all the time, man. It's just fucking annoying. So, at any rate, it's just kind of been a tough go. But we're finding the way through it. I don't know. Where is the shadow from? Interesting, isn't it? Interesting. What more can I say about that? I don't really know, but I can say this. I don't like duck hunting. No, so in lieu of all this stuff, I kind of feel like we have to kind of change the way we look at things and how we approach stuff. And if we're going to change the way we look at things and how we approach stuff, well, what's the best way in doing that if not to actively challenge ourselves on some level? Whether that's an initial thought that we have to correct, whether that's starting to see something from a new point of view, whatever it happens to be, it's very difficult. So I have done very well with the stream of consciousness stuff, but eventually I need to start forming the logic side of my mind. It's something I've never really done before. And it hurts. It's physically, it's funny to say that, but it actually, like, my head kind of hurts. I get a headache from even attempting the idea of it. It's tough. And I'm barely trying. So I know it's like going to the gym and saying, okay, leg day, and you like weigh 95 pounds. And you're trying to leg press. You know, you don't have much weight in you, so it's harder for you to do these things. And I know that's what I'm doing with that side of my mind. But I gotta get better at this, because we have so much to accomplish on our journey. So much to fucking accomplish. There's too many goddamn things that I'm trying to do in this world that I need all my faculties about me to be able to accomplish these goals. Because there are two roads that I really want to go down, because I was finally able to hone in on the approach of life that I want to take. So as I've been kind of searching about life, there are two topics that have really fucking taken me. Finally, I found some. And I'll tell you why I need these. One is epistemology. Do you know what epistemology is? You probably do. If you don't, it's just a philosophical study of nature, origin, and the limits of human knowledge, according to Google. Or this is Britannica. Interesting. Another definition, theory of knowledge, especially with regards to its methods, validity, and scope. Knowledge, man. It's like so interesting to me. Like, how do we define knowledge? What do we know knowledge to be? And how does it find certain people but not others? And all this stuff. And I'm like, that's kind of the basis of where I want to begin my search. And the other side is the one that you've obviously been seeing happen slowly in this, mythology. So there's epistemology, mythology, and that's the road I kind of want to go down, because I've really felt I've never had much of a base. In my intellectual studies, I've been floating around in the clouds, and I need some solid foundation. So in establishing a solid foundation, this is where I begin. Mythology, I got my toe in, but that's the other world, man. What can I have in this world? And, well, epistemology so far seems to be the place. So far, I mean, I might hone in on something more, then it turns into something else. So as of right now, that seems to be a very good place to start. How to begin? No idea, but I'll figure it out. Now, that's incredibly cerebral stuff, and so that's why I'm like, you need to really hone in on this side of your brain that you don't use very much, the logical side, the memory side, and that's clearly where you suffer. This will kind of simultaneously go hand in hand with the coming of the Forgotten series, the mythology I'm working on. It's going to start enhancing the story when you begin to see even the writer expanding himself slowly. It's cool, man. It's going to be so cool to really fucking see all this come to life. And I've chosen two very fun approaches. One's very ethereal and mythological and just like, holy shit, like you can't really prove any of this stuff, but it serves a purpose to mankind. There's some truth to it, but it's mired in confusion, and it's all this cool stuff, and it's very... the best word I can think of right now is just ethereal. But there's some truth in it. Epistemology is like, well, what exactly is knowledge? And that's just... the reason I have been drawn to that is because at the end of the day, when I was fumbling through it, and before I started realizing I had a theme, the more I realized, like, it would always came down to, yeah, but like, how do you know? How do you know that? Is what I always came down to. I don't know why it is, but that's just where my mind would get stuck. I'm like, well, yeah, you say you know this, but like, how? Because someone told you? Do you feel this? What is that? Did he say that? You know, you hear me on these videos, and it just leads me to the idea of like, well, this can be studied. This can be understood. But in doing that, it's going to take a hell of a lot of work. I am exhausted talking about it. But soon enough, we will work out the muscle and we will be able to dive into this stuff with much more vigor. Until that point, it's going to be a tough go. It'll be a very tough go. But I will kind of chronicle the journey for you guys. I got a chalkboard and I got some fun chalk. Some really good, I don't know, it's Japanese chalk. And we're going to just kind of go from that point. We'll see what the fuck happens. I just, I don't want to keep getting caught up in the whole I'm shocked where I am thing, but I always am. I'm always like, fucking A, how did I get here? This is insane. Trying to improve myself by going to therapy, trying to improve myself to actually trying. When you come to realizations in therapy, not just going, and then going home and doing nothing. Actually trying to improve. And not only that, but working on my intelligence, and if you want to word it that way, but just trying to learn things. But at the same time, challenging my mind and working on writing and working on all the skills that I want to harness. I can't believe I'm here. You know, it's been such a fucking journey that it's just mind-boggling. I know I say that all the time. I know. And it's like a broken record. It can be kind of annoying. I get it. But I guess you have to understand, man, to me, it's shocking. It's always looking back at where I came from and realizing just how far I'd come. And I was kind of going through a bit of a dark period there. I really felt it. I really felt this dark period. As you can clearly see in the past few videos, it was like it might be for some people hard to watch, I guess. And in saying that, I just kind of realized that there's so much that we've gone through. And basically gone it alone. Not to say no one was around me, but no one can help you on your personal journey. They can kind of help you understand certain things, but at the end of the day, you can't tell someone else how to live their life. This is not how that works. And in that, I've been trying to establish more healthy relationships with everyone around me, from family to friends. I'm sick and tired of, feeling like shit all the time. And I learned a lot. It's because I make myself feel like shit. So I'm learning to have a healthier relationship with the family and the friends. And not only that, but my work environment. Trying to find a better way to improve certain aspects of it. One strange thing that we can throw into, which is ethereal / mystical, is it's really dawned on me of late. I took it so for granted. Remember how there was some time ago where I was talking about guardian angels or daemons or whatever it was that I termed it in that video, saying that you have a personal protector that could be from another realm, you could say, part of your mind. A lot of times we want to think of it as like a spirit or an angel protecting you. We all seemingly have our own. Well, I never really knew mine too much. I kind of mused it was a woman at some times, and at times I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe it was a man, no idea, I don't really know who it is. But it was of late that it dawned on me. A couple days ago I was driving to work, and it had snowed pretty heavily here. But not only did it snow and get really cold, so that kind of hardens the snow, but there was these drifts from the strong winds that were blowing onto the road. Only at certain places where there's not enough trees, too much open field, whatever it was. And it was 4 a.m. I got up, and then I left around 4:40. Still pitch dark out, going down a back road, and mostly clear. But then there was a couple spaces where the snow was, I don't know, like this deep. From the drift, just over the road. And I didn't have my 4-wheel drive engaged because I don't engage it when I see pavement. It's my rule. Don't engage when you see pavement. Only engage it when you cannot see it. So I didn't have it on. I was going like 60, and I hit that fucking snow. And, being that I live in Michigan, I know how to handle it. I foot off the brakes, off the gas, 10 and 2, just kind of get through. I made it through 2 times because that happened, and then I thought I was clear, and then another one, and you could feel that kind of wiggle that happens when you're in it. Turns out my way back, people got in an accident. They slid off the road because of that very spot when I was coming home from work. But whatever, that's the different thing. My point is, it was in that moment, I didn't even panic. I didn't even, my heart rate didn't even go up or nothing. I didn't feel anything. I was driving and oh, that happens in life. You got to be okay with that. It's not always going to be easy for you. Don't freak out. It's kind of my mindset that I've been learning to have. Don't panic. You're fine. And if you do eat it, whatever. That was it. You're supposed to have, clearly, or else you wouldn't have. And as I was thinking about that as I was at work, I thought, over in my past, man, I've had a lot of really close calls. A lot. A lot of times where I'm like, man, I really could have died there. Or I could have really gotten hurt, but been by myself for a while. Because I would go off and do stupid shit and get hurt alone. And then just whatever. I would do that kind of stuff. And it dawned on me, I'm like, man, you are really looked after, was the thought that came to me. You are really looked after. You're protected quite well, seemingly. And I just yeah, I know. I didn't really want to admit it, but I knew that. And so it's something it didn't dawn on me until that moment. And then I think about the mythology, and I think about what I'm doing, and I feel man, there is someone that really is helping me out, is carrying a lot of the load. And I don't feel like I'm being grateful enough to those that look out for me. And so I kind of say to myself, We have to thank them properly. But it kind of reaffirmed something in me. It just kind of reaffirmed that, like, we have something we're supposed to do, and clearly it's of import. Not trying to say like on a grand scale of like the earth or something. I just mean for myself and whoever the hell's going to be connected to this. It's really important that we do this, and clearly we can't get away from it. We can't escape it, and we're not done yet. And I'll be honest, I feel that every time I work on the book stuff here, or I do the reading or the studying, I feel it. I feel this voice saying, you're not done yet, and I'll let you know when you're done. It's like, okay, God damn it. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know there's much more to be done. I haven't collected enough data in all the sources I have, because for some reason, not only do I feel like I have a lot of work to do, but I also feel like I have a lot of breadcrumbs to leave. I don't necessarily know why. Like, I feel like I need to keep pumping out descriptions of things, documents. I need to make these videos, talk about stuff, and leave documentation of a lot of things. I don't know exactly why, but I feel compelled. Like, you need to make sure that someone finds this, you know? So it's a strange feeling, but it's true. It's just how I've always done everything. That's why these videos are a damn thing, is to have this as like, oh, okay, here's the trail that we can go on, and there's like secret messages hidden inside of these, or whatever fucking people will think. For what reason? I don't know. It could be, in my mind, it's kind of from me in the future, is kind of how I choose to see it, because that's how I was doing it in the past. I was leaving myself breadcrumbs in case I get to like a mental block. Then I can go back and rewatch some of these things and be like, oh, okay, I see what I was going for, and I can remember, like triggers and stuff. That's how I see it. But maybe it serves a bigger purpose than that. I don't know. We'll find out. So it's kind of just been a very interesting journey in the entire scope of this fucking thing. I can't really labor anymore on that. I can only say, holy shit, man, here we are once again in this room, wondering what's next. And I don't know. I probably will just dip my toe into this other version of Tristan and then look up some more versions of it and, you know, form an opinion on it, and maybe I'll have a educated guess on some things. We'll see. Most likely not. It's me. But yeah, man, pretty crazy stuff. Just I challenge people every once in a while to like look back at their life, where they've come from, what they've done. Meanwhile, always looking forward to improving yourself, not societally, financially, or in some material way, but improve your mind and your overall mental state in a way that's natural to you, not what someone's telling you. Man, is it fucking crazy. Because at the end of the day, you end up feeling like this fucking guy. You know, like, yeah, I got this allegory that's so obvious, and everyone's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, this is real. You know, like, that's what it ended up feeling like. Like, holy shit. This is crazy. This is life? What? I think that's about it, man. I think that's all I got. I gotta send this so I can say I've done a video. Maybe I'll send it tomorrow. We'll see. See how I fucking feel. If I'm in the mood or not. But yeah. What are we gonna do next? Maybe a little bit of reading. Or not. I don't know. We'll find out.